This is one of the biggest what-ifs in the history of MMA. This is the story of one of the most flashy and technical mixed martial artists to have ever graced the UFC octagon. The story of an incredible talent viewed by many as a potential UFC champion. This is the story of Zabit Magomedsharipov. Born and raised in Dagestan, it was no surprise that Zabit started wrestling at a very young age. He was only 10 years old at the time. Later, inspired by his older brother, Zabit also decided to make the transition and started training in MMA. He had his first professional fight in 2012, and from the very beginning it was visible that he was extremely gifted. After becoming the featherweight champion of the prestigious ACB organization, Zabit caught the eye of the UFC, the most elite MMA organization in the world. Before entering the UFC, Zabit had already built an impressive record of 12 wins and only one loss as a professional. In the UFC, he competed a total of 6 times, winning all his fights in a dominant fashion. He also earned a total of 4 post-fight performance bonuses. Standing at 6'1" tall, Zabit was extremely tall and rangy for the featherweight division. However, it was not only his physical attributes that made him special. As a matter of fact, his physicality was just a small part of what made Zabit exceptional. It was his outstanding creativity inside the octagon, combined with his technical supremacy in all areas of fighting, that truly separated him from the rest. Put differently, Zabit was a very high-level striker whose wrestling and grappling were also world-class. Not only was he capable of dismantling his opponents on the feet, but he also knew how to take them to the ground and strangle them with ease. In a sense, Zabit was one of the most complete mixed martial artists to have ever competed in the UFC. And his dominant performances against Jeremy Stephens and Kelvin Kattar were just a proof for this statement. However, Zabit had a weakness which very few initially knew about, as it was seen on multiple occasions throughout his UFC career, especially in the third rounds of the fights against Kattar and Jeremy Stephens. Zabit had cardio problems, and although he was winning in a dominant fashion, it was visible that the intensity of his performances was dropping significantly as the fight was progressing. Look, in terms of skills, it was undeniable that Zabit was championship material, but the fact that he was getting exhausted so quickly was highly concerning. Obviously, there was a real health problem which Zabit was dealing with behind closed doors. Things were getting serious. Due to problems with his immune system, Zabit had to undergo a very important surgery. Time was passing by, but there was no news regarding Zabit and his upcoming fights. MMA fans were starting to get worried. What was going on in actuality? After beating Kelvin Kattar and undergoing the already mentioned surgery, Zabit simply disappeared. Rumors were being spread that he would never fight again. That he had decided to stop competing in MMA. And as shocking and hard to believe that sounded, it was the truth. Zabit informed his fans that he was officially retiring from MMA through a social media post. But why? In an interview for Russian media, Zabit admitted that being sick, suffering from multiple injuries, and most importantly, being lied to by the UFC were the main reasons behind his retirement. According to his words, the UFC had promised him a title shot, but they never actually gave him one, which truly disappointed him. In addition, he did not feel the need to prove anything in fighting. He had already chosen for another career path. He was willing to become a doctor. What had happened between him and the UFC, we will never exactly know. It remains between these two parties. How severe his injuries were, probably only he and his team will ever know. What is truly unfortunate is that Zabit was one of the most gifted athletes to have ever competed in the UFC, and he was most certainly a big danger for all top fighters in the featherweight division. His high-level skills in all areas of fighting, combined with his impressive creativity inside the octagon, made him one of the most entertaining fighters to watch in the whole company. At only 31 years of age, Zabit was just about to enter his prime. Would he have ever become champion? I guess we will never